Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Deck, and if you enjoy talking about movies in any way, shape or form, you're going to feel right at home here. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the latest Netflix action thriller, The Old Guard. So The Old Guard is a new action movie that came to Netflix around a couple of weeks ago starring Charlize Theron, and this film focuses on a covert team of immortals who have been working on Earth for basically as long as Earth has existed. However, when their identities are exposed and their lives are threatened, they then have to team together once again to fight this oncoming threat and protect their identities, while in the meantime, a new member is also introduced into the team. So this film already had a pretty banging cast going into it. I mean, you just have to tell me that Charlize Theron is in a new action movie and you've already sold it to me. I mean, her playing Furiosa in Mad Max Fury Road was an incredible performance, and even though I don't love the movie Atomic Blonde, she was great in it, and her performance in the action scenes, you can't deny it was absolutely fantastic. So her bringing a new action character to the life like this was something that I was very excited about. But when I actually get into the film, there's just so many incredible actors in this, such as Chiwetel Ejiofor, who plays kind of a more villain-esque role. You also have Kiki, Layne, who's playing the new member of the Old Guard, who was fantastic in 2018's If Beale Street Could Talk. And also a real standout for me was Marwan Kenzari, who played Jafar in last year's live-action Aladdin remake, which, as you guys know, is a film I actually really love. So to see him in this movie was great. Just overall, this movie has a really strong, compelling cast who all play their roles very well. They all play their characters extremely well. I bought their relationships. I bought their dynamic. I also bought the fact that these people were ancient. They're old. They have been around on Earth for years. And I also bought them in the action sequences, which was all I really needed from this movie, was to buy them as characters and buy them as action characters, and I got that completely. Speaking of the action sequences in this film, they are great. Now, they're not exactly on the level of some things out there. I don't think they're quite as well done as something like John Wick, or I don't think they're quite as well done as obviously like the Raid movies, but I think as an action film on Netflix, they do a really good job of making these action scenes really fun, exciting, engaging, and really unique. Because what's great about these characters is that they can throw themselves into these death-defying situations, and they don't have to worry about it, because they're not going to die, they're not going to get hurt really. If they are getting shot, it's not really going to hurt them all that much. They may get damaged, they may get scratches and bruises, but they're not going to die, like nothing's going to happen to them. So this allows them to kind of do these really exciting action sequences, and I think that that itself is a really cool selling point for the movie, is that these characters, they are immortal, and with that, you're allowed to do these really audacious and really fun, exciting action sequences that you wouldn't really be able to do otherwise. And like I say, while choreography, they may not be as strong as some other films out there, I think in terms of their creativity and what they actually do, some of the moves that they do, it just makes it really dynamic to watch. Also, one thing that really stood out to me in this movie that I really loved were the character designs. They just were really interesting, because this film obviously focuses on this team of immortals, and these immortals are still living in the present day. Of course, this movie does take place in 2020, but you have these characters who have been around for years, and what I love about that is that it's very well reflected in their character designs. When they go out on missions, you see that while some of them may carry guns and modern weaponry, some of them do carry these really ancient-looking melee weapons, you know, these really brutal handheld weapons that you can tell are from years past. And even some of them, like Charlize Theron's character, who does carry this really awesome looking axe thing, she also wears very modern body armor, like something that, you know, a military man would wear if he went off to fight in a war. And I like that combination, because it just strikes this really good balance of these characters being really old and really ancient, but at the same time also being incredibly modern, and also using their tools of today to really help them in the field and when they're out on their missions. And again, that character design I thought was really clever and really well implemented into the film. Now, a little bit of a hot take here, but I actually really like the music choices in this film. I've seen a lot of people criticize the music choices in the film, and I understand why. The music can be a bit jarring sometimes when it comes in. However, as I said just before about how the character designs really reflect, you know, the world that they come from, and like the combination of the new and the old, I think the music kind of does the same thing, and I'm not sure if this was done intentionally or not, but I think that the music choices, you know, they're these very modern songs that come in and they work in the action sequences and stuff like that, but I think that using modern music like that when you're dealing with these ancient characters and these ancient weapons and these kind of ancient style of fighting, mixing it with the modern music, again, in another film, it probably wouldn't have worked for me, but given the fact that in this film, I was really enjoying the combination of the new and the old, I think the blend of the new music with the kind of old style fighting scenes, I think it blended together in a way that worked really well, and again, just reflected the really awesome characters in the film. So again, it may not work for some people, and I've seen online that it hasn't worked for a lot of people, and if it was in another movie, it probably wouldn't have worked for me. However, because it was this movie, and given the context of this film, I actually think it worked really well. And the world building's really good in this movie again, because this has got obviously a really interesting idea of this team of immortals, and the way the film delves into their backstories, into their history, you actually get quite a lot of backstory around these guys, which I wasn't really expecting. I thought it was just going to be an odd scene here or there, but you actually get quite a lot in this movie, which I really enjoyed. And also what I really liked about the backstory is that it actually adds stakes to the film, because I thought that with these characters being immortal, I thought, okay, how is it going to be? Is it going to be easy to get invested in these guys? Is it going to be easy to care about these guys? Because if they're not going to get hurt, then why do we care? But in this film, they do actually add in a certain element that adds this level of threat and danger to them, which again, I think works really well for the movie and actually makes it feel like there are stakes and things could happen to these characters, which again, I think I really appreciated because it just added a bit more danger and a bit more of a scare factor when it came to these action sequences. My only negative when it comes to the Old Guard is that I felt like the film just had this real trouble with defining character motivation. There's a particular character in the film played by Matthias Schoenaerts. I don't know how to pronounce his surname. I'm really sorry if I butchered that. But he plays the character of Booker in the film. And his character goes through so many different changes and so many different plot twists that by the end of the movie I was just like, what was his purpose as a character? Like, what was he trying to do? Like, what was he trying to accomplish? Because you think he's on one side and then he's on another side and then he's on a completely different side, and then by the end of the movie they're kind of friends but they're kind of not, and I'm like, okay, so what was this character? What was he trying to do? And it's a shame because he's a cool character, and from what I've heard, this actor is incredible and he does a good job in the movie, but I was just like, what is this character trying to do? Like, what's his point? What's his purpose in the movie? What's his role within this team? Because you get the idea that he's kind of, you know, a real consistent partner with at least Charlize Theron's Andy character. But again, there's so much switching that I'm just like, what's your motivation, dude? What are you trying to do? What's your plan? And the movie doesn't quite ever fully explain that, which I found a bit annoying when the credits rolled. Overall, though, I really enjoyed The Old Guard. Again, I thought this movie was going to be okay to find, but it was actually a bit better than that. I actually think this movie does have a lot riding on it. Again, the action scenes, I think, are really well done. They're really good. This team of immortals, played by a stellar cast, I thought all did incredible jobs. Again, the action's fun. And again, my favourite thing about the movie is the combination of the new and the old when it comes to the character designs and the music choices. I think it works so well for the film, and I think it really comes together in a way that feels cohesive and again feels representative of the characters. Like I say, if it wasn't for that one character whose motivations just apparently shift all over the place, I think the movie could have gone up a couple of good pegs for me. But with all that said, I'm going to give The Old Guard a 3 out of 5. I think this movie is really strong. It's a great watch on Netflix. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. Again, it has been out for a couple of weeks, so this review is a little bit late. But I think it's a really good movie. Again, it's not perfect. There are a lot of flaws in the film, but for the most part, I think it's a perfectly enjoyable watch. You can stick it on and you can watch it and have a great time with it, as I did, and I'm sure many others have online as well. So have you guys seen The Old Guard? If you have, make sure to let me know all your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. Did you enjoy it, or did you think it was just okay, or were you not really a fan of it? Whatever you thought, let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, if you want to see more movie reviews and movie-related videos just like this one, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads from me, and I hope to see you guys again next time.